What's up Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So in this video we will start the rebuild of the engine on the rear wheel drive build. It has been up and down and it has been kind of bad from the beginning. So I'm pretty sure what's the issue right now. But in this we will do like a video series. So in this first video we will take out the engine, split the gearbox apart, start to pull out some bearings and see how they look. I think they are kind of worn out. And the goal is to rebuild the engine, make it stronger, make it more reliable, and just make it work in the bigger picture. Because right now you can drive the car, it revs everything, but it has these vibrations that starts at like 3000 RPM if you go up very quick. And it also showed a little bit of low oil pressure when the engine got really hot and the oil got really hot. And when the oil is hot, it's very thin. So we will rebuild everything that has with the oil system to do. So new oil pan, new like pickup pipe to the oil pump. We will replace the oil pump. We will replace the pipe that goes across the block, which is a common issue. And I will show you what I have done with mine that I think could be one of the issues as well. And I will do this together with you guys, because I will make an episode, then you will have the opportunity to comment what you think. In the next video I could take those comments, review them and see if there is something I can do better. Because I know that a lot of you have great knowledge about these cars and how things should look and how you should do things. And the main thing that we will do with the rebuild right now is that we will balance everything before it goes back into the car. All the other times it has been stressful when I have put everything together and I just wanted to get the car out and get it done. But right now I will take out the engine and we will do it very slowly, very carefully. Just try to eliminate everything that could cause any issues in the beginning. So let's start the teardown. So now I have got the car up in the air, wheels off, and now we are going to start to disassemble the front parts. So the front bumper, headlights, grille. We're also going to remove the hood because it will be in the way when we are going to lift out the engine. I have started to drain the oil and we're also going to drain the coolant, but I don't have anything to like show you underneath the car and it's not that exciting, so I will just drop the fluids, then we will carry on with the rest. I really don't know why, but at this moment I'm feeling glad, I'm feeling positive, and I actually don't know why, because this is no fun at all, but it's not the first time doing it, and this time I really have a positive feeling that this will be the time when I succeed, when it gets the way I want it. So the front is disassembled. You can see the G25 660 turbo and the engine exposed. Oil has been drained, coolant has been drained, and the power steering fluid has been drained, and it's always a mess. And I guess the weather helps a little bit. It's so sunny and nice outside today. So now I will take a little break. I will come back tonight when everything has drained out, dried up a little bit. Then we will disassemble the rest of the things, untouch all the lines, all the electronics to the engine, and then lift it out and see what we have. I am suspecting some kind of bearing damages, but it's not the end of the world. As I said, I'm feeling pretty positive, and we will disassemble everything and see how it looks. Got a pile of parts on this side. We put the engine over here. Here we got the new very nice cut oil flange. We got some thick piping, which is 25 millimeters internal and have thick material, so we could weld through it really good. And we have piping all the way to the pickup, so that will be nice. Yeah, I'm getting good at this, which is not a good thing. So as you can see, I have skipped ahead a little bit. Everything is detached that needs to be detached from the engine, like the electrical harness, fuel lines, the prop shaft, the engine mount is disconnected, the engine mounts is disassembled. So now the engine is loose. So now we're gonna try to jack it out of the car, and I prepared the engine stand, and I hope that it should go pretty smooth. If you have been following me for a while, you know I've been battling an oil leak in the back of the engine. So a couple of months back I had the engine out, and I removed and replaced the rear crank seal, and I also Loctited the bolts for the flywheel. And from what I can see, I don't see anything that has, I can't see any traces from oil anywhere, and I have not wiped this off. This is how it looked when I disassembled everything. So very strange. Nothing right here. The oil pan is really sealed off, and I can't see anything coming from the bolt holes or nothing. Very, very strange. But here is of course one of the causes why we are doing this job once again. From the very beginning I used this flywheel. It's the same flywheel, but this is lightened, so this is 2 kilograms lighter than that one, and I really prefer to have this one because the clutch sits a little bit better, and I have some adjustability on the slave cylinder that's in the gearbox, because this is fully adjustable as it is right now, so I can move it out and in. This is also one of the things that I'm a little bit curious about. It's not much play, but it's a little bit of play in the shaft, but it lines up with the bearing inside of the crank, so it shouldn't really be any play when it's fully locked in, so I don't think that's the issue. The issue is most likely this flywheel causing unbalance together with the clutch plate, so I will have everything balanced right now. And I had this machine by a really competent guy, then I drilled out a few of these notches, so of course this needs to be balanced afterwards, because this is not evenly drilled and not at the same depth, and a few grams off on this flywheel when it rotates will create a lot of issues. So I will start to, or continue to, remove everything. So I will remove this one, then we will get the engine up in the engine stand, remove the cylinder head, then drop the oil pan, etc. So we will just keep disassembling until we get to the good stuff, because the crank bearings are most likely damaged, and that will tell us if we had a really unbalanced engine or a centerpiece on the engine. So I knocked this plate off, and here you can see that it has been sealed off as it should be. And here you can see some of the sealant on the edges, but here there is none. So I don't know if we've had a small little leaks maybe on the sides. You can see the same on the cover. And I also found this, here you can see some of the sealant still left. Here is none, but this doesn't look good. So I don't know if I failed to install the crank seal, because this looks damaged, and this is the sealing surface. Could be causing the oil seal, but now we will change to a new one either way. As you can see right here, this engine is definitely not due for a renovation. It's extremely clean, everything is like brand new, no sludge build up, very clean everything. So it's pure unluck and a little bit of stupidity, but yeah, it is what it is. Most of the things looks very clean at least. So I will set this engine in top dead center, then just start or continue to remove everything so we can lift the head off.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be...
So I did a pure classic, the battery died, and I didn't notice because I was struggling with getting the head off. At least it's off, and I wanted to keep it as one piece because now I don't have to use new gaskets for the intake and the exhaust manifold. They can just stay intact. But here you can see why I want to build a new oil pan, or at least a little bit of the reason. This flange I cut out by hand, and it's welded in a few places because it's warped when I welded it, so it wasn't bolted down to the actual block, which I'm going to do this time. And when I installed the steering rack, I saw that one of the bolts was too close, so I had to cut out a piece. And when you have filled oil pan with oil, it's almost impossible to weld in it again. And here is one of the leaks. I had 2 drain plugs from the beginning. This one started to leak, so I fixed this by welding it up. That solved that problem, so now I have only 1 drain plug, but I'm going to redo this. Also, I had one of these big baffles on this side, also on this side from the beginning, but here comes the steering column, so that was not a good idea either, so re-welded this up again. So I just want to build a new oil pan with brand new steel, brand new flange. The holes are drilled out by hand, so not the best fitment, but it works. But I will keep this to get the measurements of it, but otherwise I will just redesign it and probably make this baffle a little bit bigger because that fits. And I will also move the drain plug from sitting underneath to sit on the side, just because it's easier to damage it when it's underneath the car. It sits pretty low. But yeah, remove the oil pan, start to remove the this cover right here, and then start to have a look at the bearings. So this is one of the reasons that it could cause a low oil pressure. This pipe that goes straight across the block, I have re-welded it, not very nice, but it's re-welded and it has worked. But this is a possible way where it could leak, and I can see that it's pressed out against the block. You can see it should go down quite a bit, and yeah, this could be one reason that the oil pressure has dropped. And the reason for this modification was because I wanted to have the pickup pipe for the oil pan in the middle. You can see right here, and when you build a rear sump it sits pretty far back. But what I will do this time is, of course, install a new pipe that is not welded, brand new O-rings, and here you can see it's the same diameter on the pickup pipe all the way, and then it gets a little bit bigger in the end. But this is 20mm piping, and now I will have 25mm all the way from the pickup. And when the engine failed, you could see that there was a lot of metal shavings in the oil pan. That's not the case right now. So I think the engine was in better condition this time, but still I had the vibrations and everything. So this time I will route the piping to the side right here and then up, so it will go in like a half moon instead of straight under, and then I can have the original piping without modification. And this is a really good insurance to make sure that this pipe doesn't fall off. But I saw on my new flange that I bought, that I will use for the oil pan, it had this cutout for this oil piping, so it will hold it down. But I think I still will run this one just in case. It's a very, very cheap insurance to make sure it works. So now I will remove the stuff right here so we could get full access to all of the bearings. So I think they say that if you remove the middle one, that would probably speak for itself on how it looks. This is a pretty worn down bearing. It's not the worst like it was last time, but definitely on the way. See if I can get some focus right here. You can see it's worn down, not so much on the edges, but in the middle it's pretty beaten up. I will disconnect the rods and pull them out, and then we could rotate the crank and also measure and see if it's uneven. So now I have removed all the crank bearings, so now it's nothing holding it down, and it barely doesn't move. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Would you consider this straight, or is it on the limitations? I don't know. I would consider it straight, but it's clearly that we have had some other issues. So the engine block is fully torn apart, and you can clearly see that the wear on the bearings are so uneven. Some worse than others. And on this axial bearing you could clearly also see that one of the bearings has taken quite a beating, while the other one is barely untouched. So that also says something. So this was the first episode with the tear down. So in the next episode we will install new bearings, new crankshaft, a bunch of stuff to make this work, and it will take some time until I post the video again, because the next time I will balance the whole assembly. So the pulley, the crank pulley, the crankshaft and the flywheel together with the pressure plate, everything together 100% balanced. And we will also start to rebuild the oil pan. So I can quickly grab the new flange for the oil pan. So here we have the new oil flange together with the new oil pipe. You can see we have a cutout that will hold the oil pipe down, which is also really good. It sits so much better right now with just new O-rings. So this will enhance the oil pressure as well. We need to do a little bit of grinding right here to get this exact, but yeah, this will be a lot better. And as I said, I will route the oil pickup on this side. We will make the oil pickup a little bit fatter. So this will be so much better than the old one. I mean, the old one worked, but this will be just one step above. So probably we'll start to work on the oil pan next up, because the balancing and get those parts will take a little bit longer. And this time I will really not stress the project. I will take my time, just make sure to make it 100% as good as I can. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any pro tips or if you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!